In the summer of 1995, Jerry Garcia's 30-year ride with drugs and alcohol was nearing its end. The 53-year-old music legend checked himself into a drug rehab center north of San Francisco. But Garcia's cry for help came too late. At approximately 1 a.m. on August 9, 1995, a counselor at Serenity Knolls Rehab Center looked in on the clinic's newest patient. Jerry Garcia, admitted just a few hours earlier, was already asleep. But Jerry was tossing and turning, his breathing ragged. Shortly after 4 a.m., the counselor returned to Garcia's room. This time, Jerry wasn't breathing. Paramedics were called. They arrived moments later. There was nothing they could do. Jerry Garcia was pronounced dead at 4:23 a.m. He was 53.
Jerry died by going to sleep and not waking up, and that sounds, simplistic and childlike. But I don't think he OD'd. He had a massive heart attack.
Friends were surprised and shocked. Musician and friend Melvin Seals.
Our heart just stopped. I think my heart stopped. I just froze in time and just looked at the TV, and just couldn't believe what I heard. And then obviously the phone started ringing and rang all day off the hook.
I get a phone call, and I won't say from who, but they said, "Tell me it's not true." And I go, "What?" They go, "The Jerry's dead." So I called Cameron Sears, and I go, "What's this about Jerry?" He goes, "Oh, he's always dead." They say that all the time. So I was trying to get to the bottom of it. I turned on the satellite channel, and I saw one of them that said, "Run file footage on Garcia." And I knew it was true.
Longtime friend and former merry prankster, Wavy Gravy.
It was quite a shock when we heard of Jerry's passing, because we thought we'd gone through that, and we'd experienced it so many times already that we were just not ready for it this time.
We were kind of hoping, well, maybe it's just a rumor, maybe he just OD'd, but he's going to be okay, like in previous years when he had gone into the coma for a while and then made it through.
Not this time. Jerry Garcia was gone. The story of Jerry's death led morning newscasts around the country and later flashed across the ticker tape at the New York Stock Exchange. Garcia's fans, the Deadheads, went into mass mourning. That evening, August 9th, 1995, impromptu candlelight vigils silently proclaimed the end of an era.
It was a phenomenal outpouring of grief and shock, nationwide, internationally. He'd become a beloved, revered figure. I think that made him uncomfortable in ways that he was never able to resolve in his personal life. But the tremendous depth of the response to his passing was just astonishing to all those of us who knew him.
Jerry Garcia's death touched people from all walks of life in all parts of the world.
These newspaper racks, every one of them had Jerry's name. And there was papers there from France and the Philippines, and Jerry was on the front page of every machine. And there had to be 20 machines there.
Jerry Garcia's funeral was an elaborate affair held on August 11th, 1995 at St. Stephen's Episcopal Church in Belvedere, California. The Reverend Matthew Fox, who presided over Jerry's marriage to his third wife, Deborah Coons, conducted the service. In death, as in life, Jerry Garcia was decked out like the kid who never left the playground. Black t-shirt, sweatpants, and windbreaker. But the solemn affair was mired in controversy. Jerry did not want an open casket, and some members of his inner circle were not invited to the service, including Garcia's second wife, Mountain Girl.
We couldn't even go to the funeral. Me and Mountain Girl and Dan Healy, we weren't allowed in there.
It was a show funeral, and there was a lot of media there. It wasn't just friends and so on. So I think that kind of a funeral was something that none of us had ever experienced before. So it was a little difficult.
Several people close to Jerry delivered eulogies, including Garcia's widow, Deborah Coons. But Jerry's longtime friend, Ken Kesey, believed no one captured the man or the moment.
There's something not being said here.
And we're not talking about a guitar player. Guitar players are a dime a dozen. We're talking about a revolutionary.
And a revolutionary deserved a rousing send-off.
At the end of the funeral, I forgot who it was, said, let's give Jerry one final salute. And we all stood up and clapped and roared as audience would do at a concert, and just send him off with a final salute of the work that he's done. And so I wasn't really very sad at all. It was kind of uplifting, you know.
There was no controversy, only plenty of tears at a public memorial held on August 13, 1995, in San Francisco's Golden Gate Park. Robert Hunter wrote a eulogy for his longtime writing partner. Hunter could not attend the service, but he asked Wavy Gravy to read the moving epitaph.
Now that the singer is gone, where shall I go for the song? Without your melody and taste to lend an attitude of grace, a lyric is an orphan thing, a hive with neither honey's taste nor power to truly sting.
Photographer Herb Green summed up the emotions that hot August day.
At the memorial service, there was a grandstand at the polo field, and there was steps going, the measures going up, and people came by and put offerings on it. And it was just covered up, and the people were passing this, like a big long line in front of this. And I sat and watched it for an hour. It was the most amazing outpouring of grief you've ever seen. Some people were just like, you just want to go up and say, it's going to be okay, honey, you know.
Jerry Garcia's body was cremated as stipulated in his will. Garcia's widow, Deborah Coons, was a devout Buddhist, and 8 months after Jerry's death, she flew to India, where she scattered some of Garcia's ashes. Coons returned to the United States, and in April 1996 held a small ceremony to scatter Jerry's remaining ashes over San Francisco Bay. As Coons and close friends gathered together, a morbid comedy of errors ensued. Carolyn Mountain Girl Adams suddenly showed up, and she was furious.
There was a lot of, the controversy over Deborah taking some ashes to India and spreading in the Ganges. That made Carolyn nuts and didn't please his kids too much either. And the animosity between Deborah and Carolyn boiled over into some kind of horrible scene at the dock when the boat was leaving to spread the rest of his ashes out.
They were yelling at each other off of the dock. One was on the dock, the other one was on the boat. They were screaming obscenities at each other as we took off. And that was kind of interesting.
Mountain Girl refused to comment on the incident. After the verbal battle, the boat chugged out into San Francisco Bay. Deborah Coons emptied the urn holding the ashes of Jerry Garcia into a gusty north wind.
So we all got a little bit of Jerry in us, it was pretty nice, actually. I actually kind of rubbed a little of my cheeks, and the guy was my brother, man. I was delighted to have him on my cheeks. And I know he would have liked it too.
But Jerry might not have liked what happened next. As part of his divorce settlement with Mountain Girl, Jerry agreed in writing to pay her $5 million over 20 years. But when Garcia died, Deborah Coons stopped the payments, and the dispute ended up in court. Coons' lawyers argued Mountain Girl was entitled to only $1.2 million. Mountain Girl demanded the entire amount, and in January 1997, a judge agreed. Coons appealed, but she lost again. In November 1998, Mountain Girl was awarded the balance of the original settlement, $4.6 million, to be paid in increments of $250,000 per year.